Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chase, and today I am back. I have returned, and after 3 long months of just the gutter, honestly, my health has been absolutely in the gutter in more ways than one. And I have finally come back because I can't stay away. I can't stay away from making content, from talking to you lovely folks about books and just about anything, because all of you are such amazing people, and I just want to thank all of you that are still subscribed. It really means so much to me, and the fact that more people have subscribed over the time that I've been gone, it blows my mind, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you. So I just want to say thank you right off the bat. Now that the preamble's kind of over, I just wanted to explain what this video is. So today is my 19th birthday. The day you're seeing this, at least this will be put out on May 21st. And so this is my 19th birthday, and I am doing the birthday book tag video, which is what these note cards, index cards, whatever you want to call them, are for. And we have 7 questions that I am going to answer, and so I am going to do my best. I honestly haven't done one of these in a long time, but this is so much fun because I love tags. I love tags because they allow you to get to know the reader better, and you learn a lot about the person through that. And I think that you can only learn so much about a person through their reviews. But book tags are just such a fun, relaxed, more chill way of getting to know the content creator. So without further ado, the first question is, what is a book with a plot that seems cliche, but you adore it anyway? And so this is going to be a Stephen King book, and that Stephen King book is Christine. Came out in 1983, if I'm not mistaken, and Christine is about a killer car, and it's a horror book, and there are a lot of horror books with like sentient objects that are in everyday life, inanimate, and can only be controlled by human movement or just any other kind of, like a push, and so Christine is so great, and there are so many parts of it that may seem cliche, like the jock and the nerd friendship. And I really liked this book. I read it a couple of years ago, and I still love it. It's a book that I would love to come back to just because of how much I enjoyed it, and I think it's definitely one of his more underrated works. He's got a lot of those, but this is definitely high on the list of his underrated books. So number 2 is your most anticipated book release for this year. And that is super easy because I have made it very well known that that I'm what Alan over at the Library of Alexandria calls hashtag Sinlin superfan. I am a Sinlin superfan through and through because of Alan, and it's my favorite ongoing series, and sadly it will be concluding this year with The Fall of Babel, which comes out in November, actually. And this is one of those books that I would absolutely die to get an advanced reader copy of, because this is absolutely such a phenomenal series. And please check out my reviews for the first 2 books. I should have a review for the 3rd book coming out before too long, but we'll see. But it's absolutely The Fall of Babel, and I cannot wait to see how Bancroft wraps up the quartet, quadrilogy, whatever you would like to call it, because both those are accurate. I have so much faith in Bancroft as a writer, and he's just such a stand-up guy. Honestly, if you talk to him on Twitter or on social media in general, he's such a nice, kind guy. And honestly, I really appreciate him and his thoughts on my reviews of the first 2 books. And I cannot wait. I mean, it's an understatement, but I cannot wait for The Fall of Babel, because I just know it's going to be one of my all-time favorite series once it's wrapped up. So, number 3 is a book that surprised you with how much you loved it. And so I'm going to have to go with Mort by Terry Pratchett, which is the first book in the Death books, which is like a subseries of Discworld, which is, like, I'm sure you know, it's like a huge 41 book series made up of a bunch of different subseries. But Mort really surprised me. It is such a short book. It's like under 300 pages, I think. And it really blew me away how much it was able to say in such a short, like, page count. And it had so many valuable lessons and themes and ideas. Like, just, it was chock full of them, and great witty humor and fantastic characters that just popped right off the page. And I think that I expected to enjoy this book because I love witty humor, and that was exactly what I was expecting from Terry Pratchett. But the expectations I had of this book were absolutely just blown out of the water. And so Mort is absolutely a book that surprised me, and I cannot wait to get the Reaper Man, which is back there on my shelf somewhere. Don't know where it is, because I rearrange my bookshelves like all the time, like probably 3 or 4 times a week. So honestly, I have no idea where anything is anymore. But I loved it, and I can't wait to get to Reaper Man and the rest of Terry Pratchett's books. So that was unsuccessful. So, number 4 is a book that certainly deserved all the hype it got. So for me, this book, without a doubt, is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, book 2 of the Red Rising trilogy and the Red Rising series in general, because there's going to be a 6th book, and I think that might be the end. I'm not sure. Anyway, Golden Sun was very interesting. I finished it earlier this week in like a sitting. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Also, by the way, friend me on Goodreads. That would be awesome if you did that. But it really surprised me how much better it was than Red Rising. That was something I had heard from people, that it was so much better than Red Rising, and I expected that. And I actually really liked Red Rising, don't get me wrong. But still, Golden Sun was so much better. Golden Sun just did everything right for me. It had really, really great quotes. It's such a quotable book. And Aspera ad Astra, right? And, you know, there are so many things about Golden Sun, particularly the character dynamics and the development of already well-established characters, that it just really took me by surprise how much it lived up to the hype, how well it lived up to the hype. Because I'm very wary of the hype. Senwin was a book series, particularly book, because I know hardly anyone who's read past book 1. But that was a series and a book, particularly, like I said, that was really hyped up, but it met the hype. And even so, there are a lot of books I'm very cautious about in terms of hype, but Golden Sun exceeded the hype for me, and there's absolutely no question about that. So, number 5, a book with some very beautiful and truly memorable quotes. This is probably the second easiest question on this 7-question list, because it is Gardens of the Moon by Stephen Erickson, book 1 of the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. I have read about half of Dead House Gates so far, and it's a trend. It is a trend for Mr. Erickson to have absolutely breathtaking quotes and philosophical takes that you don't really think about until you read them, until you hear someone else say them, because it's just so deep in your own consciousness and your own understanding that, like, you don't even really think about it until someone else, like, pulls that out of you. And that's what Gardens of the Moon did for me in so many ways, particularly with the quotes, and especially from characters like Tool and Amanda Rake. Those were definitely 2 of the standout characters for me. I mean, they had some of the most brilliant quotes I've ever read. And I think that that's only going to be something that escalates in terms of how many, how deep they are, and things like that. It amazes me how well these quotes fit into the story, because these quotes could be something that would really stand out like a sore thumb and not really work within the context of scenes or the story as a whole. But Mr. Erickson is so adept at weaving these in at the perfect times, perfect moments in scenes, and from just the right character that needs to say these. So I'm thoroughly impressed with the quotes in Gardens of the Moon, and am so far, I feel the same way about Dead House Gates. So let's see if we can finish Dead House Gates and get to Memories of Ice, and finish Memories of Ice and get to House of Chains, and finish House of Chains, then get to... So number 6, a book that you read a long time ago, but you think you would appreciate more if you read it as a more mature reader. So I kind of actually struggled with this question, because there were some books I read probably 3-4 years ago that I know I would have a different opinion on today. Particularly A Song of Ice and Fire. That was a series I read years ago, and I feel like I would have a much different opinion. But that is not what I chose. I chose It by Stephen King, which is the first novel that I read like outside of school, for fun, because school it's just horrible. It's not fun ever. And despite the fact that high school introduced me to 2 of my favorite books of all time, Fahrenheit 451 and Slaughterhouse-Five. This is a book I read before I got to those books, and that was such a great book at the time. And honestly, I only read it because I saw the first trailer for the movie, and I was like, oh my god, what is this? This is so creepy. Like, I have to read this. I have to be the cool kid who read the book before the movie came out, and I have to go to the movie theater and pick the movie apart based on the book. Now, I don't typically do that. I do like to do that if I really like the book. I also did that with Shadow and Bone recently, because I read the trilogy, and I read Six of Crows. So I do that on occasion, but I did it a lot with It, because that was such a book that I loved at the time, and I feel like I would appreciate so many more of the nuances if I read it now. So this is probably a book that I am going to schedule a reread for in October. I'm going to do House of Leaves and probably Dracula and Frankenstein in October as well. So that should be fun. Yeah. So we only have one left, and that is number 7. Number 7 is a book that kept you incredibly... I can't even read my own handwriting. What is this? Incredibly happy during a sad or demanding period of your life. Sad or demanding period of your life. That has been the last 3 months. But Sinlin Ascends. This is no contest, because Sinlin Ascends, although I haven't reread it, I don't think that the caveat here should be that you have to reread a book for it to keep you happy, for you to keep enjoying it. Sinlin was such a relatable character to me that I felt so connected to his plight in general, and it wasn't even necessarily that he was trying to find his wife, but he's trying to find something. And I feel like we are all searching for something. We're all trying to find something in this life, and that is what Sinlin was doing in so many ways. And I felt like I read this book at a time where I was so lost. And honestly, I'm not afraid to admit that in many ways I still am very lost. But Sinlin makes me happy, because it makes me realize that I'm not alone, and none of us are, because we're all looking for something. And whether or not we find it, that's not the important thing. What the important thing is journey before destination. But really, it's just the journey is what matters. And searching for something in some ways can be more important than finding something, because you'll find something along the way that will change your search. And in many ways, Senlin, and Senlin Ascends in particular, and the series as a whole, they both reflect that idea. And that is something that I absolutely loved about that series. Honestly, I could do so many videos about those books. I really don't want to annoy you guys with all my thoughts on those, because this is not going to be a Senlin gush. This is not going to be a gush of anything in particular, but that's just my thoughts. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video. There are links to my Goodreads and my Discord and all my social media that I have up right now in the description, so please join my Discord. I would absolutely love that. If you do anything, I'm not asking for anything for my birthday from you guys, except for you to join my Discord and start some Discord about books, or palaver, or discourse, or whatever you want to call it, whatever word you want to use. Just please join, and I would love to see you in the comments, and we could talk more about these wonderful books. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.